Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? All right. I'm very loud and obnoxious, so you have to put thumbs up or down or something like that. So it's 3:30 here, and I don't know what time zone I came from. So you're going to have to help me up, but I know it's end of day here. We're going to try to make this as conversational as possible. And the whole idea and the whole mission of this session is for you to ask the hard questions to our panelists. I'm putting you on the spot, but I didn't mean it that way. But also, if there's anybody in the audience that maybe have thought of starting their own thing, thought of, taking the leap or going after their passion or starting a technology platform of some sort. So this is your chance of asking the questions. Cool? All right. So I'm going to first start with Tamar. You're going to introduce yourself.
So do you want me to say a bit about what we do?
Yeah.
So I'm Tamar Beck. I'm the CEO of Gleanin. Gleanin is a referral marketing platform for events. And we launched our business in May 2012. So we've been around now in the UK for quite a long time.
So where were you before Gleanin? What's your history like?
So I'm not a technologist, I'm an events person. So previous to Gleanin, I was actually at Reed Exhibitions for 15 years. So my background is all about running events. And two of my ex-colleagues have just joined the audience. Thanks, guys.
You can ask her the hard questions then.
So that's my background. But I left Reed Exhibitions early 2011, decided I was going to change my life and get out of events. And then I met two technologists who wanted to get someone with events experience. And basically, the rest is history. We got together. I was really passionate, really excited about what I'd seen them build. And we decided that we had a product that the market would want, and we launched the business.
Perfect. Leonora, what about you?
Hi, I'm Leonora Valvo. I've been sort of creating and running businesses my entire career. Swoogo, my current company, is an event marketing software solution, but I have founded somewhere between 5 and 7 companies. It's kind of like that stuff on your resume that you don't put on because you were only at the job for 2 months. I have a few companies like that. I don't really mention so much, but I've been in event tech for years. I founded eTouches, which is now called Eventry. InsideXM, a data analytics company. I'm the creator of the Event Tech Tribe. I'm a co-founder of Swoogo. And I had an event management agency before all of those called Global Executives. So I've been doing it for a long time.
Perfect. Mehram, what about you?
My name is Mehram Sumray-Roots, and I am the product director of a platform called Yada. So Yada Events is basically a collaboration platform which covers all of the functionality that any organizer would need. So all the way from ticketing through to post-event marketing, social, vouchers, whatever you need, our platform does it in one place. I have significantly less experience than the lovely ladies next to me. I started this straight out of university. So that's where I was before I was here today.
Perfect.
She just means she's younger.
No, definitely not.
We know that's what she means.
I mean, I'm significantly less intelligent. That's what I mean.
She said it nicely, though. She said it super nicely.
I was just blown away. It's when you said, I've founded 7 companies, and I was
She's
like,
in her head,
God.
whoa. Well, I know James introduced me briefly that I come from Mickey Mouse Land, which actually is true. I took a red eye last night, this morning, something. But Dahlia Plus Agency is something that I started about 2012. And the reason I started Dahlia Plus Agency, it's a tech evangelist digital marketing agency. Basically, what I found was there's a gap between amazing technology platforms and what event organizers do due diligence of or wanting to implement or how to implement it. So we fill that gap in. We are the tech dot connectors that help event planners and event organizers just use the digital or tech as much as they can to enhance the experiences for their teams as well as for their events. All right, so also wanted to let everybody know that we are live streamed right now on YouTube, so no pressure there. One of the questions that I had, one of the first questions that I had was, what motivated you to start your own business or your tech platform? Who wants to take that one first?
I mean, I don't mind going first.
Go.
We did a lot of research when we first started building our platform. And I think a lot of the motivation was that so much technology out there thinks they know what attendees and organizers really want without actually asking them. So my motivation was to create something that I attend a lot of events myself, and I also enjoy organizing events. So my motivation behind it was to create something that I know is needed to fill the gap. There's so many different technology solutions out there, but there's nothing that brings it all under one house. So that was our motivation behind it, to actually listen to the people that are going to be using it and giving them something that we know they will be able to use and use it easily as well. It's not a complicated platform.
So that was the motivator for you to get started right out of college.
That was a motivator, and also I really didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. And I think when you are starting out of university, that is the time to try entrepreneurship.
Right.
It's the time to give it a go. You can use it almost like a gap year, because you've done your university degree, you've got something to fall back on if it doesn't work. You don't necessarily have all the commitments that you do if you're starting your own business later on in life. So it seemed like the perfect time to get something started.
Great. Leonora, what about you? What motivated you to start your own, the first business?
Yeah, so mostly that I was just hugely unemployable. And so as I started in early jobs in my early life, I was a female with no college education, and I fell into a couple of jobs that happened to be in the travel industry. As I watched things evolve, mostly my career has been about reinventing and re-engineering. So I sort of evolved from one thing to the next, just seeing what was coming. So when we had our global event agency back in those days, the good old days, as my kids would say, there really wasn't that much event tech. I mean, these shows are awesome, but like there really wasn't a lot to choose from. So out of necessity, I started creating my first software solution. So I've just sort of evolved from travel to services to event tech.
Cool. Tamar.
So I guess my main motivation was, having been one of our customers, we were trying to solve challenges that I had experienced firsthand. So the first product that we had was all about trying to measure social media mentions, social media reach, mentions by exhibitors and things like that, which I'd found very, very challenging when I was in my role at Reed Exhibitions. The product that we have today, that we've kind of scaled around the world, that was about solving the attendee acquisition challenge that has been a challenge for us, ever since I started out in events, and in fact has just become more difficult. So that was my main motivation. Is I couldn't help but get involved when I saw what these guys were building. It was too much for me to say no to, because I wanted to be involved.
So it's still a motivator now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So just show of hands, and I know there's a lot of girl power on the stage right now, so I do appreciate the men that are in the audience. I just wanted to say that. But first and foremost, does anybody have like this idea in their head or something that they maybe sketched on a cocktail napkin or in a journal somehow and are just wanting or dying to launch it? Anything? Yes. Don't be shy. You're going to know each other
So
quite a
you
bit.
can just write down what it is on a piece of paper, fold it over, and send it up. And
So I'm going to
we'll let you know.
But I'm going to put the ladies and myself actually, I'm just going to put this out there. Anybody that does have an idea, because I think the most important thing is you also have to seek a soundboard of some sort to help you validate or to help you think through it. That's one of the obstacles I think that people go through. So if you do have an idea and if you want to write it on a piece of paper or discuss it with us afterwards, I'll put my hand up. You're more than happy to use me as a soundboard. So I don't know if you guys have time for that, but I'm just going to put that out there. So my next question, which is about this, how do you shut off that voice in your head that keeps telling you, yeah, you kind of have a good idea, or oh my God, that is the stupidest thing I've ever said or done, and no, do not do it. And how do you shut that voice off? You shook your head like right away.
Yeah, I mean, I have that thought a lot. I think I'm probably my own biggest self-doubter, but I'm really lucky to have a great team and a great family and great people that support me. And I think that's a huge thing when you are running your own business, is to have that support network. And I'm sure many of you would agree. I mean, my dad's in the audience today. There he is, looking at his phone, really engaged with what I'm saying. And he is genuinely one of the biggest support networks. So I think it's very important to have those people that you can literally throw every single stupid idea that will come back to you and say, no, you know what, Medj, that's my nickname, Medj, that's absolutely a load of crap, don't even bother. Or they will say, give it a go, why not, if it fails? So that's
doesn't have to be perfect.
It doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm a very creative person. So I do exactly that. I throw so many ideas at the wall. Some of them stick, some of them don't. But it's good to have those people around you that will tell you whether they think they will or won't work.
Yeah. Do you guys have any tips on how to shut it off? Or you don't have that voice?
Well, I think by nature, people who are founders, entrepreneurs, you have ideas all day, every day. And I think if you want to start a venture or make a venture successful, you just need to be really selective about which of those ideas you should really be punishing your team with, and which ideas you should probably either put aside, write in your notes and come back to another day, or hope you forget by the time you wake up the next morning. So you just have to be a little bit thoughtful about whether they're aligned with the goals and whether they're going to actually make what you're doing better.
Okay. Tamar, can I give you one of the first questions that are coming through Gazzar? So we're going to go with the first one. What's most important for launching your idea? An idea, good financing, work ethic, or something else? Or shutting down that voice that's in your head?
It's got to be all three. It's got to be all three, really. But for the idea, obviously, the idea has to be good, has to be solid, has to be something that the industry that you're serving wants. So you need to, before we launched our business, we went out and got validation. It was, I think, my circumstances are a bit unique because I'm from the industry that we're serving. So I had been a customer. So the technologists were able to pass those ideas through me. So I was pretty sure that we were onto something, but we went out to people that I knew to validate. As soon as we were very confident that we were onto the right idea, then it was time to get some finance behind us. So we actually got a small number of really supportive angel investors. And they are still involved with us now. We meet with them every quarter, and they really are a great set of people. And they give us great advice, and they've been nothing but supportive to us. And then work ethic. Obviously, you work hard. I was going to be semi-retired, and 6 years later, I'm working harder.
If you're with kids, you're never retired.
I'm working harder, but I love every minute of it, and it's been such an exciting journey. And yeah, I've got kids, but I've got supportive people around me, and it's just been amazing. And our philosophy is always just to try to fail really quickly. If something's not going to work, you need to let go of it and put it away.
Good.
Can I? So I would say, I get very involved in venture mentoring, and I would say the biggest challenge to launch is make sure you have people who will buy what you're selling. So find 10 people, 15 people, 20 people, 100 people, and know that they will buy what you're selling, and then execute fearlessly, which means good ethics and service and culture and all of the things that make a company. But the first thing is make sure somebody will buy it, and the second thing is execute the hell out of it.
Do you have any specific, I'm looking at you, do you have any specific tips, or like even maybe 3 top ones on how to analyze the marketplace, or how to find those buyers or analyze the buyer persona, for example?
Yeah, I think focus groups is a huge thing.
Focus groups?
Focus groups is massive. We spent a lot of time. So we actually launched our platform properly about 6 months ago, but we've been in this for about 3 years. And we did a lot of proof of concepts. We did a lot of focus groups. We asked a lot of people their opinion. And from there, we've become able to get so much further down the roadmap than we really should be at this stage if we hadn't really listened to our buyers, like you said. It's very important to do that. So one would definitely be focus groups. Two is definitely look at what is out there, because you can learn a lot from what is out there. And sometimes you might think, okay, they're too similar to us, let's not bother. But no, let's do it better, for sure. And then a third one is really, really understand exactly who that target market and who that buyer is, especially in the events world where there's so many different types of events.
Yeah.
And I think at the beginning we fell into the trap of trying to create a platform that worked for every single type of event. And we do offer that, but it's taken us a long time to get there. So you need to start with a particular sector and get it right for them before you jump into saying, yes, we offer everything for everyone.
Okay. So there's also another interesting question here via Gazzar, which is, do you think female founders are treated differently to male founders? Whoa.
No,
We
I
can
know
be-
they are.
Is that it? We're done. Well, let's ask the audience, actually. Do you think females are treated differently than males in companies? Is that a yes? No? Depends on the company?
I think it depends a lot as well about which sector you're in and where you're coming from.
Right.
And I think a lot of it has to do with your age as well. I think so many people will look at female founders and think, they'll either look at you and go, oh, that's very impressive. And you're like, yeah, thanks, I think. Or they will look and go, oh yeah, okay, come back to me in a year when it just hasn't really worked out. Or they'll go, who else is on your team? So I think there definitely is. There's a lot more sort of either feigned that they're really there, they're really impressed by what you're doing, and sometimes it can come across a little bit patronizing.
Yeah.
Or they are very supportive, but I don't think either way it should make a difference. Whether you're female or not, if you created a company, it's impressive either way.
Well, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I mean, I personally obviously think there is a difference, but I also think it's a motivator. So it's a motivator. It was one of the motivators for me starting on my own. And I think it's a motivator for female founders. It's almost like as if they're on a mission. Not to just prove someone wrong, but they want to see their passion come to fruition. They sort of like have this vision, and you want to, you know it's going to work. So that, I think that is a motivator on its own. What do you think, Tamar? No?
Leonora's going to have experienced this more because this is my first, this is our first business. So I can't really say. I've been a woman in a big corporate events company, and I know that women that have senior roles in events companies are treated differently from males. So I'd have no reason to suspect it's any different, but that's just part of life.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about lessons learned. Give us examples of lessons learned from challenges or epic fails that you've faced.
Do we have to?
No?
Next question.
No lessons learned?
Oh, I mean, gosh, you don't get to be my age and not learn a lot of lessons. But I think that certainly if you're going to be a founder, everything that you do that you haven't done before, whether it's raising capital, putting a product out in the market, putting together a board, the key things that are really going to impact your business long term, just make sure that you do, get counsel from people, talk to people who know, talk to people who are experienced, and do your homework. And I think that's the most important thing. And then you're still going to F up, but at least you'll feel like you prepared yourself for the epic fail.
Yeah, and to build on that, I think it's what you were saying, that you need to walk before you can run.
Right.
I think especially within the technology sector, you hear about so many overnight successes that all of a sudden woke up in the morning and had like millions of users and millions of pounds in the bank. And I think it does take a lot of hard work. So it's very easy to get disappointed if you're not an overnight success. But it really is about putting in and learning to have a bit of patience with things, because it will work out in the end if you just have that patience with it.
Okay. So one of the other questions that we have here is, do you have any recommendations on securing investment for a startup?
So I have raised Series A and Series B. I have bootstrapped the company I'm in right now. And I would say the most important thing is, in my opinion, I would never raise venture again where I didn't get to a certain point of success in the company, so that I was raising from a place of strength. And I think that's the most important advice about raising funds, is make sure that when you walk into that room, you know and understand your business backward and forward, and you've proven in one way or another. And sometimes it is users, users as currency, or it's revenue, or it's profit, but that you know that you've proven that your business model is sound and that your product or company or service is sound, so that you can negotiate those deals from a place of strength.
Any other?
I'd agree with Leonora, but we've never done a big round like that. But for us, it was also as much about finding people that could add to our experience, to add something in experience, and who were going to be supportive. And I think we have had a really easy ride with our investors. We've had quite a good time. I know
you have angels, right?
Yeah, we have angel investors, and they've actually wanted to stay involved as well. And we've had a very positive experience.
I think one of the three great lies is in venture investors who say, "Oh, and we're going to add so much value. We're going to do all of these great things to help you grow your business." No, they don't really. I mean, I'm sure there are exceptions, but the reality is, pick your investors based on the deal you can drive and feeling like they're people that you want to be in a room with every month, but don't expect that they're going to make the difference in your business growth.
Okay. So you have your idea, you have your investment, yay. Now, how do you build your team? How do you go about trying to think through what kind of skill set you want, what's missing, so that you're not trying, I know founders that try to be everything and do everything. So how do you build that team?
For us, building our team has been a lot about getting people that understand you and your product, even before looking at their skill set. You can easily try and think, okay, we need somebody that does this, and they might be very expensive and think that they have all the knowledge in the world, but if they don't fit within your company and your team ethics and your team morals, from the get-go, it won't work, because they need to understand you. You guys need to get on. A lot of companies, when they start, are very, very small. So if you guys don't start with a family base that you can build on, where you all bring your different skills to the table, I think it'd be very hard to build on that, because you need that foundation from the beginning.
Okay. So for us, again, we have had quite an easy ride in that for the early years, for at least half of our life, or maybe less than that, there was just the three of us, the ones that founded the business. I did all the customer facing because I was from the industry, so I knew who was going to buy the product. And then our next recruitment, everything that we did was about, so once we secured the clients, was about making sure the product works. So service, and that the product actually delivers what the customers buy. So for us, everybody that we got to help us in those early days, that was the sole intention. So our first recruits were a developer who's still with us today, and now so we've got 3-4 people in the product development team, and the only other recruit that we've made is another events person to do all of our kind of customer service, because it's really helped us in this industry, me being one of them rather than being someone who speaks tech to them. So, and that's, as we've only got 7 in our team now, and obviously we have marketing support that's kind of outside of that.
So after getting the team, talk about the marketing bit. Like, talk about like going into market. or making that brand known instead of being in stealth mode. So there's a lot of startups as well as different ideas companies that are founded, but they remain in stealth mode. So how do you bring that out to market? What are your successful tips?
So for us, we really concentrated on the product. Probably up until about 18 months ago, we did no marketing, pretty much no marketing. We solely concentrated on getting successful referrals, making sure that customers wanted to renew. So that was our verification. We tried to produce case studies, but we didn't recruit a marketer. We haven't got a marketer in our team, but now we worked with a branding agency about 18 months ago because we were like, we now need to get outside of the UK, which means we need people to know who we are outside of our UK home. And so we worked with a marketing agency to get our branding and our proposition straight. And we have retained a marketing agency here and in the US to help us with that. And that's how we approached it.
So I would say at Swoogo, and actually in most companies, I mean, I have a sales first philosophy. So first sell and then market. And at Swoogo, because we were bootstrapping, we were fortunate in that we had a name and a reputation. We'd done it before, so we did have, I think, a little bit of a leap forward. But I also created this sort of family of companies. So the Event Tech Tribe, because channel, few to many, is a wonderful way to bring an early company to market. So if you can create relationships with synergistic companies, you have an exponential access to customers that you wouldn't have otherwise, particularly at an early stage. And then now as we've evolved, and we're in our third year, we have actually created a formalized marketing department. And I promoted our director of customer success to director of brand experience, and both customer success and marketing report to him. And this is sort of an interesting thing to think about. Many years ago, I engaged Joe Ferry, who was running marketing for Virgin, to speak at an event that we were running. And he told me that the flight attendants, everybody in Virgin, reported to marketing. And it always stuck with me. So when we thought about running marketing at Swoogo, it occurred to me that it made sense because our best marketing is the people who are on the phones with our customers and supporting our customers. So that whole concept that the whole organization is marketing your company all the time is one that's really worth paying attention to.
Yeah, and we actually did it in the reverse. So development is incredibly expensive for us. So in the meantime, we were marketing ourselves and we were getting our name out there, and we started building partnerships. We started building relationships with a lot of other companies. So now that we have launched, we've kind of used that as our step up. So I think we have got that ingrained very much within our team. As I was saying about, it's important to make sure that your team is very much on brand with you. Now people see us and they recognize our team and they recognize our brand instantly, and that's a lot to do with the marketing that we did pre-launch and before we even started properly selling our product.
Here.
I think anybody who's thinking about launching an event tech company, though, needs to... One of the great things about this industry is it's actually really small and that everybody knows everybody. So, we had no choice but to choose the sales route first. Like, we had to sell. And we knew who our customers were and we went out and sold. But the best thing you can do is sell and to please your clients, because then your clients tell people about you. And in this industry, they all talk to each other. They all talk to each other. So our marketing came off the back of that, and our marketing is still, the main marketing that we do is still going on between our customers, and that referral and that recommendation process, you can't buy that.
Yeah, and we're selling based on that now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take it a step further, because we do help tech companies, especially startups, because I have a soft spot for startups. But as an agency, I think don't be afraid. If you have an idea and if you have it funded and it's solid, don't be afraid to reach out to influencers that are in the industry. So meaning if you take a look at who's talking about what, whether it's event management or whether it's any type of technology that pertains to your platform, I do truly believe you should just reach out to them, have a relationship with them, and create ambassadors that can help you in marketing as well. Because I think that's a tactic that a lot of startups don't take advantage of. And I mean, I do know influencers that are ready to help. Granted, some of them might be by fee, some of them might be by referral, some of them would just want to know what you're doing and then help you make any kind of connections. But I think you should never, ever be afraid of reaching out to people that you see on social media that are talking about event tech.
Actually, that's a good question for you, because I'm sure for many of us, that challenge of, okay, you can sort of possibly know how to find the influencers.
Yeah.
But how do you cut, selling to influencers is like selling anything, right? How do you cut through the noise to get them to pay attention to hopefully
So speaking from an influencer and knowing other influencers as well, we tend to gravitate to authentic stories. Don't be premier, don't be world leader. Don't use those words with whoever you're talking to. And actually, those words don't work anymore in marketing, to be very honest. But be very authentic on what you offer and know your buyer persona. And if you don't know your buyer persona, because right now, and it's a question up here as well, event tech world is getting very noisy and it's overwhelming. And you need to be standing out. The only way you're going to be standing out is with authentic stories, whether it's coming from clients, whether it's coming from brand ambassadors internally from your team or externally as well. But we cut through the clutter by just seeing exactly what your platform does, but truly seeing what the results are. I used to do tech as well, sales and marketing, and I came to a point where sometimes the client doesn't even care at a point if it really works, because it's all about the relationship building as well, and it's all about the dedication that you are trying to solve a problem. You're not selling, for example, a specific organizer, a platform that's not going to fit for their events. So I think this is where you need to find where your uniqueness is. And don't be, like you said, that platform or that solution that is for everybody. You're not going to be able to serve everybody. And there's a lot of business out there. So you don't have to be everything to everybody. I sound like a little motivational speaker right now. Do not be everything to everybody.
Just be good at what you're good at.
Absolutely.
I think that's it.
And just do it over and over and over again. So being unique, how do you stand out from the crowd? How do you stand out from the crowd?
Well, I think we stand out from the crowd by really understanding what it is that people want, and we have a very, very strong brand as a company. I think we have a very fun side to us, and our platform is very much about engagement and interaction. So that really feeds into what we're doing.
You're a fun team.
We're a fun team. We're a very fun team.
See, that's where the relationships are. I mean, you want to. It's almost like dating. You want to work with the people that you want to date or go and have a drink with, and their technology works. Well, that's awesome, But this is all about relationships. That's exactly what's going to get you to where you want to be, because they'll tell you the honest truth about everything: your customer service, your roadmap, your product, and all of that. And they will not be shy to say, if someone's asking them, hey, what do you use for registration? They'll say, oh, I use ABC. So
Swoogo, you mean?
Swoogo, yes. I use Swoogo. But it is all about the relationships. And that's another thing, too. Because it's so noisy right now, I think that technology companies, and you'll see them all over here, take a look at their persona, their brand persona. Is it fun? Is it going to gel with you? What's the energy that you get from it? I know this is touchy-feely, but it's very true. This is something that you can tell from a brand right away, just by seeing their team, seeing their booth, all of that. So, do we have time for other questions? We have 10 more minutes.
Can we pick the one about the being afraid someone's going to steal your idea?
Yeah. Which one?
It's like that bottom one, because I just always think that's such a great question. If you have an idea, socialize the hell out of it, because that's going to tell you whether it's a good idea or not such a good idea, how people react. And actually, my co-founder at Swoogo, who was the chief software architect at eTouches, years ago, I had some panic attack because I decided that some China company was scraping our code. And he said, it's not the code. It's the company. Don't worry about it. Right. And ever since then, I've been so chilled about that. And also, there's the concept that there's no new idea under the sun, right? So it isn't about the idea. It's about what you do with the idea. And very few people can really successfully execute on ideas, or 90% of startups wouldn't fail. So clearly, it's not about the ideas. There are lots of great ideas. It's about how you execute on those ideas. So socialize them. Talk to people, look at reactions, feel how people, if they go, oh yeah, that's a great idea, probably you want to talk to a few more people and maybe consider waiting for your next idea.
Has anybody been on Product Hunt? ProductHunt.com is where people just have an idea, they build a platform, an app or something, and then they just launch it there and they wait for the comments to come through. And actually, Product Hunt is almost like a platform, a launch pad for anything that's tech, digital related. That's how it started. Ryan built it, and he just put it out there, and he's like, oh, there's all these couple of ideas. Let's have people vote on it, comment on it. And the beta platforms are now huge platforms because of all the commentary and the feedback that was coming up. So imagine if someone was scared of competition, or like, oh, there's someone else who's going to think of it and do it and has never done it before. Most of the big brands and big platforms that you see today would never have been built, basically. So Product Hunt, check it out. It's really cool.
No, I was going to go back to the point of saying that socialize the hell out of it. I know, particularly in the startup world and tech startup world, I used to go to so many networking events at the beginning and come back really deflated because someone had thought about a similar situation to mine, or someone hadn't understood what we were doing. And then it's exactly that. It's your team. Your product wouldn't be what it was without your team, and not everyone's going to have your team. In fact, no one will have your team. So ideas are ideas, and I think the more you talk about it, the better your idea will become. So I think it's definitely, don't get into the whole trap of being a bit cloak and daggers and thinking like, you said you're in events. And then like not talking to them ever again, because that will just not work in your favor. Genuinely just have an open discussion, say what you need to say. You'll probably end up bouncing ideas off each other, or they will say to you, wish I'd thought of that. And you'd be like, yeah, well, you didn't. So
I think our principle's always been that we want to talk to everybody. And if someone wanted to look at our code, we would show them, because it isn't just the code. And we've had people, taking some of our ideas and doing different stuff with it, but everyone will always have a different take than you do. And you have to have confidence in what you're building and your ability to make a success of it. And so our principle is to be open. We will we'll partner with people, we'll talk to everyone, we'll be open, and we learn as we go. The more people that we talk to, it makes our own product better. So I think it can only be a benefit.
Yeah, perfect. So next question, do you have a mentor? Do you have a mentor? A couple?
This is going to sound really cheesy, but my mentor is my husband. So but I'd say my mentor is my husband, and also I've been lucky to work with some really great people who are still in my life, and they're people that I talk to a lot. But my husband has been in the finance world for many years, and he's a very rational person, and so a very good sounding board for me.
I would say I don't at this stage, but I would say I have a therapy group, and it's our team. We're a very transparent team, and we collaborate a lot. We talk a lot. Actually, we're completely virtual, so 15 people around the world. But we get on a call every Friday. We're all on Slack together. Actually, one of the things that's really changed for technology companies today versus even when I started my first technology company is that you can be, all over the world, and you feel closer than when you were in the same building. So we're very collaborative, and because we're a very transparent company, we actually help each other quite a lot in kind of figuring out how to get things done.
Yeah, and I'm incredibly lucky to have quite a few mentors. I think there's never any shame in asking anybody to be your mentor and ask them for advice. The best thing is when you are stuck on something and you can fire off an email, or even if it's sharing something that's pressurizing you, and to get a little bit of reassurance back. In fact, I'm going to ask both of you if you'd be my mentors going forward. But yeah, I think anybody that you meet, by all means, you should always ask any questions you have. And if they're willing to give you an answer, then that basically makes them a mentor. It doesn't mean that they have to put in hours and hours of work. It just means that you're comfortable enough to get advice from somebody that actually really knows what they're talking about. Right. I think so many young people, particularly that get into business, feel like, oh yeah, I know it all. Or they might feel, no, I don't know any of it, but I'm just going to plod my way along until I do. And there's no harm in asking people for advice at all.
I have to say, I think you could. So I declare now that Dahlia Plus Agency has been helping us in the US. And I have to say that when we were going into a new region, I was just thinking in my head now, in terms of mentorship, that you guys really helped us enter a new market. And going into a market where you don't ever assume that you understand that a marketplace is going to be exactly the same as the one. It's not the same as the UK market. And Dahlia and her team have really helped us think through
I have way too
how
much
we
fun
approach.
with it. That's the problem.
Pardon?
I have way too much fun with it.
But it's been really helpful, and I think actually that if we were going out into any other region, what we've done in the US, we would be it's worked really well for us.
I admit I have a therapy group as well. But then that's it for my confession, okay? But I have a mentor for different advice. So I have a mentor with leadership, especially with team collaborations and so forth. I have a mentor for marketing, as well as like where do we go, how do we grow and stuff like that. So I think it's another thing where I find startups and it bugs me because a lot of times they start really strong and then they sort of go down. And I think it's because either they are not asking the right questions at the right time, or they're taking advantage of people that are in the specific industry or market that can help them out. And I just wish that some of them that are no longer with us, I know it sounds like a graveyard, but that's not what I mean, that they came and asked for advice at the right time so that they are still with us. So my ask of anybody that's putting any idea together, whether it's big, small, whatever it is that you reach out to people. Make the introductions on LinkedIn, on Twitter, what have you. That's the only way that, and believe me, what's the worst they can say is like, no, that's it. But make that effort. Are we good?
I could hear a bottle popping over there, so I'm quite ready to have a drink. Yeah,
have a drink. I'm ready right now. So how many people are coming to the awards or not? Or yeah, okay, drinks for sure.
Hey,
all
Dahlia.
Right. Well, thank you. Yeah.
Women in event tech. Do you want to mention women in event tech?
Yes, let's do that. So women in event tech. There's this great. I'm going to call tribe, if you don't mind. I'm going to use the word tribe.
That's okay.
So, womenInEventTech.org. And this is a forum where women, not only if they are in event tech, but want to be in event tech or want support or want to celebrate others that are in tech.
Or are just very tech enabled.
Yes.
So in events at all, but tech enabled.
Which, so this is a forum for anybody that wants to connect. We we actually do support each other quite a bit. and it is growing as well. And there's going to be a couple of industry events that you're going to see, like meetups of women in event tech at. So take a look at the website, reach out to us. We would love to have you be part of it.
Join the Slack group.
And join the Slack group.
Join the Slack group, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah.
And, you know, in the Slack group, there's an I am at. So all of us, all we women in the group, it's really good to get in the habit of going on there and saying, like, you're going to be
I'm
here.
at here.
We want
I'm
to try to
there.
kind of create a little bit of a sort of organic groundswell of little meetings where we can all get together and be mentors, support systems, therapy groups, whatever.
Yeah, therapy group. We need that. Thank you, everyone.